with week 3 review and week 4 predictions, everybody. Welcome back here. Kelly and Ryan here doing our sports talk again here. We already talked about Steelers and Browns our last stream because we did it late that day. We actually did it right after that game. So we're actually going to skip that one. We're going to jump right into this, starting with Texans and the Bears. Overall, I would say pretty even matchup, and you really did not see the Texans actually probably going to win this one, but still a close game.
The Texans are a very surprising team. They've had, unfortunately they're 0-2-1, but like every game has been, you had your tie, you had your late game loss to the Broncos, and then you had a 3-point loss to the Bears. They're a fighting team. I think they're out to prove that they're a little bit better than what people are saying about them. There's a lot of fight in there. Bears coming off a good win after bounce back from dropping to the Packers the week before. And what a great performance by their running back, Herbert. Had a 2-touchdown game on 157 yards rushing. Great win for them. And we'll see what happens with the Texans later on in the season. They're trying to fight for a win, and they're surprising me a lot.
Right. Technically, they have half a win right
Ties
now,
don't
but
count.
I know. I guess that's something we should talk about sometimes. Like, do we like ties? Do we like ties in football? I personally don't.
I don't either.
It's just like ties in baseball. There's no such thing. Just play until whoever wins.
Yeah, I think
keep going into overtime.
I think you change, and this is a conversation for later. I think you do what every other sports, football has done, college, high school, Pee Wee, all that stuff. Overtime rules are you line them up at the 35 and you try to go and score everything like that. I think you just do that. I think that's your overtime. Instead of a full quarter, just do that. You're bound to find a winner. I think ties in football are dumb.
Yeah.
And unnecessary.
I would even be fine with like the kickers having a kickoff, just like soccer and hockey have their shootouts.
If we're really that desperate, yeah, but I to me that wouldn't be like.
I just throwing that out there. That's something else we can talk about someday. Who knows? It might even happen. All right. Up next we have the Raiders at the Texans. All right. Wow. We have the Raiders at the Titans. Excuse me. Looks like here Titans actually got off to a really strong start, and Raiders tried to come back but came up short.
Unfortunately, there's just still not a lot going on with the Raiders right now. They're still struggling, trying to find it. There's obviously some frustrations with the first 3 games, and again, it's the first 3 games. They can easily turn around, but obviously that this team is a little bit frustrated. They can't win. They've had close games, and I think the Raiders are soon bound. They're destined for a win. Derrick Henry had a pretty decent day. I think the Titans are a little bit on the struggle train right now. I think that like I said, I've said this before. I wouldn't be surprised if Malik Willis actually comes in and takes over at some point. I think that Tannehill's showing his true colors, and he's not really he's not there anymore.
Do you give Tannehill 1 more game or 2 more games before they call?
They're 1-2. It's still too early to make any adjustments like that. I think it's got to be later on in the season when the season kind of playoffs are kind of running away. Like if you're like 1-6, I could see it. But good win on the Titans. Way to get a win after your first 2 weeks of losses. Raiders just still trying to find their momentum.
Yeah, and I also was told that excuse me, that Josh McDaniels got called into Davis's office for a lengthy conversation after this game too. So keep an eye on that too. I don't see him already firing McDaniels already, but.
The Davis family and the Raiders organization are
Up next, Chiefs at the Colts. Colts with the upset.
They did. It is an upset, and this was a game that you really saw the Chiefs really hurt themselves. Kind of the tone breaker was a muffed punt in the first quarter that put the Colts right in scoring position. And their defense played very solid. And held the Chiefs to. It was a good defensive game, and I was surprised to see the Colts. And maybe this is what people were saying that the Colts would be and everything like that. And I know a lot of people were hyping up the Colts early in the season. Maybe this is a good win to get Matt Ryan and the Colts really going for the rest of the year.
Oh yeah, definitely some, momentum, for him in the way, give him a morale boost, showing that hey, we're not, a team that's going to go down easily. Also, too, Mahomes and the coordinator are on the sideline getting at it a little bit, too, in this game. Mahomes was not very happy in this game.
That's because his OC is terrible.
Just going to leave it at that?
There's a lot of story about how he doesn't... The OC is, and a lot of the reason why that happened was there was plenty of time for them to actually push the ball up the field to potentially score right before half, give it a shot for a scoring chance, and then he made the call to go very passive and, just down it and stuff like that. And, I get Pat Mahomes' frustrations and, as a coach, you got to play safe, but I mean, you got one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and you prove what happens when you give him a little bit of time and a full length of field to travel. He could do it. And I kind of agree. Push it. Let's go. Let's not pump the brakes. Let's hit the gas. Let's go. So little frustrations. Obviously, it's a lot of work to be done, but I don't think that it's going to jeopardize the season for the.
Is this OC new this season, or has he been here for?
I'm not sure, to be completely honest.
Okay.
I just know that he has a long history of not good play calling.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, moving on. I think this was upset, but I think you called this one. Bills at the Dolphins. Dolphins get the squeeze out the win.
Either I called it or I was saying that I wouldn't be surprised the Dolphins win. The Dolphins are exactly what I've been saying, that they're coming out playing hot for the first 2 games. They're fired up. There's a lot of momentum. But we'll see what happens comes Thursday night. Actually, Tua is questionable with some back injury right now.
And then the concussion protocol incident going on with him as well.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because I think I was rooting for the Bills in this game, and just the fact that the Bills just had some mistakes and couldn't get it done. And but it's nothing to be concerned about. The Bills, they're going to bounce back from this and continue to reign. And the Dolphins they're out to look to take advantage of any opportunity they can. And Tua's playing pretty well right now. He's got a great receiving combo of Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So let's see how this, hopefully that Tua's not injured for Thursday night. It's going to be a huge loss for him if he is. And let's see how the Bills bounce back next week.
Honestly, too, keep an eye on this Dolphins team as it gets closer, to the mid-season as well. Bills, like you said, are going to bounce back. Definitely that last drive there, they did not coordinate that very well. And then you could also see the viral video of the offensive coordinator just totally losing it to the point where somebody actually had to throw their hand in front of that camera real quick.
Well, if you want to talk about viral videos, thank you, Dolphins special teams, for the brand new funny butt punt. I've never seen that before, and it's never been done. And I wonder how that's I wonder how that meeting went about the fact that he punted it in his own teammate's ass.
Well, from what listening to SportsCenter in the morning, the only thing that the guys brought up, I was listening to Max Zubin and Keyshawn in the morning. Or that's not Zubin, it's somebody else now. Anyways, they were saying that guy that got kicked into is that when you were doing a punt in your own end zone, you don't go backwards to block. You got to push forward. You got to try to give that punter space. And that's what they're saying is that he went backwards instead of going forward, and that's what caused it.
Regardless of how it happened, or regardless of whose fault it is, the fact that it happened is the funnier stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, literally, he kicked it. The ball didn't travel far. He literally kicked it, and within a split second, it hit his own teammate's ass.
Well, we all thought, too, like, when he kicked it, the way he kicked it off of here, but it ricocheted off the top of his foot. Yeah. And that's what first we all thought, but then when we got the other angle, no, he kicked it right into the other guy.
That's what I'm saying. It's the funniest thing in the world. Like,
I mean, you probably would see something like that at like a little league.
No,
game.
You don't. Like, you don't ever see it.
Somebody kick the ball and goes.
You see him kick it into the lineman's head. Like, that's common.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This is not. But... This is straight point blank ass kick, literal ass kick.
All right.
I'm sorry, but anyway, that's funny as hell. Like,
oh, it's funny as hell. That's why it's becoming the trending meme right now around football. So, all right, we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. Lions at the Vikings. Revenge game for Vikings losing last week, I would say. But also, Lions, another pretty good. Lions are still looking solid, even though they've lost 2 games, though. I will say this about the Lions. They're still looking pretty good, even though they've lost 2 games. And I do expect them to, still hang in there as we go along. But definitely, like I said, a bounce-back game for the Vikings with Cousins and Cook. Unfortunately, Cook now is injured and questionable.
Well, not only that, but unfortunately, DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown also got hurt in this game, which did affect the Lions' play.
Oh, yeah. Right. Brown got hurt, too.
So, I mean, again, like, what a great game by the Vikings to come back and win. Honestly, like, I'm enjoying watching these Lions and how they're playing, and they're not giving up. And, however the season will be, this is definitely a different team than we saw last year. There's a lot of fire. There's a lot of, heart in this team, and they're fighting, and every game has been close, and they're going to surprise people. Give it about midpoint, and they're going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too. Next, we have the Ravens at the Patriots. Mac Jones did not have a good game, unfortunately, and entered the game in the last series, I believe it was, with an injury. And Lamar Jackson once again just balled out.
Lamar's playing MVP level, and I don't think it's just MVP level for himself. I think he's doing it so he can put the Ravens on the map and, go play far and, be a contender and everything like that. 5 touchdowns for Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's incredible. Mac Jones had a horrible day, 3 interceptions. Mac is kind of taking a backwards run from what he did last year. It's early and everything like that, but a lot of people are saying he's comparable to Tom Brady, and obviously being the Bill Belichick offense. And let's be real, Mac Jones isn't Tom Brady, and there's a lot of work to be done for this Patriots team. They're not as good as what people really think. There really isn't a big time threat. Mac Jones doesn't hit his strong weapons. Like, he has one of the best tight ends in the league right now with Hunter Henry, and he has yet to use him all year.
I was going to say, has he even thrown toward him yet?
Like, a couple times, but, like, the defense is even struggling a lot against any team. Like, they're it's just a kind of a I'm thinking that we're starting to see a little bit of a downfall of the Patriots, but the Ravens are out to prove that they're competing for that top 3 teams in the AFC and top teams in the NFL as well. And Lamar is, like I said, playing at MVP level these first 3 games.
Right. I would agree. Would you say right now, out of these 3, Lamar, Allen, and Mahomes right now, would you say Lamar would be your number 1 if you were to rank them?
Right now?
Yeah.
Just based on the season?
Just based on these 3 games so far?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. I'm just curious. You don't actually have to...
Allen
Mahomes,
Jackson.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Up next, we have Bengals at the Jets, and like always, Ryan loves always talking about New York teams. So we figured the Bengals were going to get this first win. So do we need to say more?
No. No.
Okay, we're just gonna.
Do I need to? I'm going to make a catchphrase. Apparently, maybe. Sorry, language. Going to the next game, we got the Eagles at the Commanders. The Eagles with the 24-8 win.
Wow, that came all in one quarter. Damn.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a little bit misleading in the sense of saying that the Eagles are good when 24 of their points came in one quarter. It means if the Commanders actually came to play, you actually had a chance to beat them. They got shut out in 3 quarters. Jalen Hurts playing lights out right now, first 2 games. Devontae Smith finally getting it going the last couple of weeks. Eagles are out to they're out to prove something. They're at the moment one of the best teams in the NFL, but also the best team in the NFC. Looking and Jalen Hurts is showing that he can do it on both ends, on the ground and in the air. I'm interested to see what this Eagles team does if they keep this going all year long.
Yeah, me too. Definitely keeping an eye on them. And also, I believe too in this game, Carson Wentz got sacked 9 times. At least that's what last I saw.
So that's how it sounds about it.
It was
right?
like at least a career high, obviously, but I almost want to say it was like a NFL record.
Are you sure? Because
maybe.
I mean, Russell Wilson's probably got that record.
Well, that's only when he goes up against the Rams with Aaron Donald.
Dude. It's like
almost every
game Russell Wilson plays is almost sacked.
Guaranteed, like already 3 sacks. You might as
well put 3 up on the board already. I mean, it's already guaranteed.
Exactly. Okay, up next, Saints at the Panthers. Panthers get their first win of the season, and I can't really say much about this game because never did see much about this. Fortunately, but it looks like
it's a solid win from the Panthers, but that's all I can really say. Like, I actually didn't know who won this game until yesterday. I didn't realize that they actually won. I actually totally forgot they played against.
I just don't remember seeing them appear much on Red Zone when we were watching, but I guess that got overshadowed by other stuff.
We'll just say solid win by the Panthers. Great for Baker Mayfield to get his first win. I guess when they asked who that say they beat them Saints, well, apparently the Panthers did.
Exactly. Next, we have the Jaguars at the Chargers, and I think we're starting to see some effects on Herbert here from that one game where he got pretty banged up.
Yeah, last game he took a rib shot and everything like that. And, the Chargers still have it's a long season and they can still turn around, but something to be said about the Jaguars is that they're coming out fired up. James Robinson is one of the top backs in the league right now. And just, again, what a great dominating win by the Jaguars. Very surprising that they won in this faction. I thought that if they were going to win, it was going to be like a 1-score game. But to win by 28 points, that's a lot.
Especially Chargers at home, too.
Against a team that's considered an AFC favorite to win it. And against Herbert, yes, he was injured and everything like that. But like Herbert's considered a top 3 quarterback and of the new generation. And the Jaguars really came out and played up. Doug Peterson, I think, is a great coach for the organization, doing very well. And let's see if this is a continuation with the Jaguars. Let's see if they're not starting off hot and then falling off, or if they're going to continue.
Yeah, keep that momentum going.
It was like I said, their division is very weak.
Yeah. Also,
anyone can win that division.
Yeah. And Doug Peterson's been doing this for a long time. He knows how to work, the system, get the players that he needs, and who knows? Jaguars might be finally getting some of those pieces together that they've been needing after all these years.
Well, then think about it too. A few years ago, he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, led by Carson Wentz. Yes, I know Nick Foles ended up winning the Super Bowl, but he could have the similar stuff with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence and Carson Wentz, very similar play styles, but Trevor Lawrence is considerably better than Carson.
I do think the Jaguars' offense is very underrated. I think a lot of people don't give them credit for what they have there.
No, they don't. I mean, they have a bunch of. They have Trevor Lawrence, which is your main guy, and then you have a bunch of guys that on other organizations would be second to fourth string guys, and they're making it happen. And honestly, you don't need big time players; you just need the right guys.
Right.
And let's see if this is the Jaguars. Jaguars and Lions. Let's see if it's those two teams. I like both those teams, and let's see what they can do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next up, we have a divisional game against the Rams and Cardinals. This was very hard to watch, well, especially when I say that because of the Cardinals. Kyler Murray just had nothing really going for him, making very, very terrible decisions from what I could see. And then the Rams, being the typical Rams with that defense, just took it to them.
Well, obviously it's hard for you to watch because you being a diehard Seahawks fan. I imagine any game that's not a Seahawks fan, yeah, game is hard to watch. With this game, like the Rams are looking fairly good. They're a little bit of the Super Bowl hangover, as I call it. They're good. They're doing well, but they're not as dominant as they normally are. Kupp obviously is playing lights out. It's Cooper Kupp. He's considerably one of the best receivers in the game right now. But yeah, the Cardinals they're playing like we kind of expected. Kyler Murray. There's a big question mark. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Yeah, I mean, his skill set to make him a top 10 quarterback, but he barely plays like a top 10 quarterback. Especially against the Rams. And again, this is just a great thing by the Rams, developing a defense to contain, to frustrate, to pressure these high prolific quarterbacks, especially the ones that like to get out of the pocket, to run around and all that stuff. They're kind of making it pay for it, and that's the beauty of Sean McVay and the Rams.
Yeah.
So, good win on the Rams. Like to see them be a little bit more dominant, especially coming off a Super Bowl and everything like that. But again, it's early.
Yeah, it is early. That's one thing we've been reminding people a lot lately is that it is early. They've only played 3 fucking games so far.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. But, because, heck, you could see somebody like the Raiders who are 0-3 turn around and make the playoffs. So, stuff happens, Things happen. All right, up next, we have the Falcons at the Seahawks, where Cordell Patterson just got unleashed on the Seahawk defense.
I should have went with my gut because I was thinking the Falcons were going to win this game. And a great game by the Hawks. I mean, they're a fighting team, but just all around, what a performance by Cordell Patterson. Marcus Mariota leading the Falcons into Seattle, which is not an easy place to come in and play and win. But Mariota playing a very solid game. The Falcons overall with the comeback victory, they are again in a division where, especially for how all 4 teams are playing, there is no set stone of anyone coming out top. And honestly, this is a prove it for Marcus Mariota. He doesn't want to lose his job to another rookie. He doesn't want to be benched again, and this is a redemption for him. And he's out there in every game showing how good he actually is and how good this Falcons team actually can play.
Yeah.
So a great win by the Falcons. Another close loss, fortunate close loss for the Seahawks. Geno Smith is actually playing very well, better than what most people are expecting. And
overall, I thought the offense, they did well. It was just the defense, unfortunately, which lacked.
Well, defense, as we kind of figure, was going to be the factor of the year, especially with now Paul Adams out for the year. You're questionable at your corner position outside of Sidney Jones. You kind of battle between 2 rookies that really have kind of cost you a lot so far. Your best players are, in my opinion, your 2 inside linebackers of Cody Barton and Jordan Brooks. Obviously, a great 1-2 combo. I mean, I love big man Al Woods. That man is good. But there's not a lot of pressure on on quarterbacks nowadays. They kind of haven't. They kind of put everything in line to beat the Broncos week one, and really just haven't found that same drive, momentum, and everything like that in any of these other games. So
Right.
and especially like the biggest concerning is the pass defense, and it's not looking very pretty if they don't fix it.
Yeah, they got to get that fixed if we want to think about winning games, especially against tougher opponents down the road. All right, up next, Packers at the Buccaneers. This is actually what I expected, a close game between these two. And
I expected close, but I didn't expect it to be so low of a score.
right, I mean, we didn't get to see Tom Brady break another tablet, so. But yeah, you have two top quarterbacks going at it, and just said they were actually having very decent pretty drives. They just couldn't finish them. They just keep getting stalled out, and that's why the score is only a 2-point difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens the rest of the year. Obviously, I've heard a lot of people talk about how Aaron Rodgers is back, the Packers are back. I mean, it was a close win, but it wasn't like they did anything very spectacular. And just good win by the Packers. Unfortunately, close loss to the Buccaneers, but we'll see how the season goes. No one, Tom Brady going to turn it around and a lot of fire and everyone.
Well, that's what I was just going to bring up. Everybody's thinking that this whole speculation of this off-field stuff with Tom Brady right now is becoming a factor of his reason of not playing at a high level right now with these first 3 games of the season. So
almost 50 years old. The brother's tired.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying is people are using that as an excuse, but we'll see. I mean, I don't see really Tom slowing down. He never really has, even with injuries or when he was suspended and missed games. So I figure he'll definitely bounce back.
I mean, he is slow. You seen him run?
Yeah, I've seen him and Peyton Manning. They wouldn't make it.
Kidding me? They're
By the time I get.
Kidding me? I've seen like newborn kittens move faster than them.
All right, up next, our Sunday night game, Niners versus Broncos, and I gotta say, 3 Sunday night games have just been terrible. Honestly,
Yeah, this was a very disappointing Sunday night game, especially when you really, really, really look at it. The Niners killed themselves on.
Niners should have won this game overall, but
they had too many costly turnovers, too many bad, and again, like I don't, give Garoppolo a break. Like he had a bad game. First of all, it's always hard to go to Denver. You got the high, altitude and everything like that. Second, okay, so he ran out of bounds in the end zone. It happens. He had the unfortunate pick, and then the running back cost a fumble at the very end. Honestly, though, I do not argue with me all you want. 2-1 for the Denver Broncos literally means nothing to me. You played. You haven't had a great schedule at all, and you're barely 2-1. And really, this is more of the Broncos win on this one actually gets more credit. All credit goes to that defense. And all year they catch you in every game, and you finally make a play. So stop saying Russell Wilson edges the Niners. No, defense stepped up.
Yeah, especially Bradley Chubb, I believe it is.
Oh,
Just been balling out these last 3 games. I've been watching that man with his highlights.
He has a very slow
playing
start.
On a high level.
He has a very slow start in every game. He has a very slow start, but when it gets to when it matters, he steps up.
Yeah, he has. I think one play they had to where if they didn't blow it dead, it was a ball tossed up there and he ripped the ball away and would have taken it for a touchdown. I think it was.
Yep.
And it was like, he thought he had a pick 6.
Well,
he thought he did, and then all of a sudden they Actually, no, it was the play that Garoppolo stepped out of bounds and threw the ball, I think.
Yeah. We also look
So-
at like his play in Seattle. He had the big sack, forced fumble on Geno Smith that got him the ball in time for another drive. He had the one fumble where he actually chased down DK Metcalf, forced a fumble. So, like, Bradley Chubb is playing lights out, which is this Broncos team needs. But if they want any chance of playoffs, winning games, competing for an AFC West title, your offense has to turn it around. And actually, what's funny is I've heard more funny quotes about this team than how they're actually performing. It's actually funny. Eli Manning was probably the best quote I have heard in a long time, and that's they should have paid the punter
more
$252 million.
Yep.
I agree with that. I agree with that, Eli Manning.
Right.
So,
all right, wrapping it up with our Monday night game, divisional game, Cowboys at the Giants. Cowboys look like they had all-around offense going there. Looks like everybody got in the action there. Cooper Rush had another good game, and Giants kind of getting back to their old ways a little bit there.
I mean, what's scary, and this is a thing that people should be more worried about, the Cowboys are winning with Cooper Rush at quarterback. This isn't Dak Prescott, this is Cooper Rush.
Exactly.
So, simmer down with the hatred of the Cowboys, and they're going to be terrible. There's something brewing there. Also, one thing I will say a positive note on New York, on all New York teams. I like that Saquon's healthy right now.
Yeah.
He has had the unfortunate of being injured and sustaining some serious injuries, but he is playing lights out, and I am enjoying watching that.
Oh, yeah, it's just like watching him back in his rookie season. Or, shoot, even back in his college days. It's been kind of nice to see him, being productive. Again, we just haven't seen that so far because every time last two seasons we watched this guy go out there and he got hurt, and then it's like, well, season ending, so
yeah, it's always very early, so it'd be nice to see him play a full season and show everyone that he was actually the big time back he wanted out of college.
Exactly.
So,
all right, well, that wraps it up for this week 3 review. We are now going to move on to week 4 and make our predictions. Up first, Thursday night game tomorrow, we have Miami at Cincinnati. I'm just going to go with Miami since they seem to be rolling.
I'm going to go with Miami too. Obviously, I feel different if Tua is out. But give me Miami. I don't feel confident in Cincy. They're a little I've said it, but they're a little overhyped. My opinion. I don't think that they're.
I just think just because they got their first week, their first win of the season, that doesn't solidify that they're on their comeback right now.
Well, just because they went to the Super Bowl last year doesn't mean that they're actually good.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, you could take like the Bears when they went and played the Colts at the Super Bowl. The Bears weren't necessarily good; they just got lucky.
Actually, no. That I will argue that one. Rex Grossman was terrible.
That's what I mean.
But that defense was freaking amazing. I will say that. Like, if you look back at that Super Bowl team, that defense was amazing. They were killing people.
I mean,
left and right.
Brian Urlacher and Lance
he was having a year.
And Brant Spriggs.
They were killing it. So, I mean, I would have said, like, any Giants team that Eli Manning took to the Super Bowl. That's a better argument because you really question.
Yeah, but they won, so that's why I don't want to say that about that. Even though, they weren't that great, but they still won. All right.
They won, but it doesn't mean they're good. Like, Eli Manning, for God's sakes.
I mean, beat Tom Brady twice.
It's because Tom has head so far up his ass, he thought he was better than he actually was at that time. He needed some humble pie.
Humble pie. All right. First Up first for Sunday, we have Minnesota at New Orleans. I'm going to go with Minnesota.
And it's the first game overseas in London this year.
That's true, yeah.
I'm going to say Saints. I'm going to say New Orleans Saints is going to take the win on this.
All right. And up next, we have Cleveland at Atlanta. And after what I just saw with Atlanta, I'm going to go with Atlanta.
I'm going to go Cleveland. I think the run game is too good to stop. I think that Atlanta has a hard time. Will have a hard time with that. You know, if you're, and I do like Atlanta and everything like that, but trying to stop Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker from Seattle is going to be a whole lot different than trying to stop Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So give me Cleveland.
Right. Next, we have Washington at Dallas. I think Carson Wentz is questionable for this game after getting sacked and beat up so much. And the way Dallas is going right now, I'm going to go with Dallas.
Why am I really going to say this phrase? But how about them Cowboys? I say, gotta give it to the Cowboys. Even if Carson Wentz plays, I don't think that even that team led by Carson Wentz beats this Dallas team. There's just something. Dallas is just out to prove something, and potentially we'll see Dak Prescott soon. Apparently.
All right. Up next, we have Seattle at Detroit.
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say it. Y'all can come at me about not being loyal. Right. I think they're the better team.
But I kind of want to pick Detroit too. But if Swift and St. Brown are out, who's the other ones?
Jamal Williams. There's T.J. Hawkinson. You have Jared Goff, who knows how to pick apart Seattle's defense like crazy.
You know what? I'm just gonna be the same with you. I'm gonna go Detroit too.
It kills me to go against my favorite team.
Well, but
logistically, Detroit's better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's like we pointed out. You know, our defense is pretty good. The line is good. The linebackers are good. It's just the DBs that are killing us.
Well, no, but let's also be real. Our offense line is still work in progress. Aiden Hutchinson's going to come in there, and he's going to have flashbacks from last year when he led the Michigan Wolverines to play your pooches. All right, and what he do against Washington Huskies? He killed them. One man wrecking crew.
All right. I hope I'm wrong that Seattle does win, but I will stick with Detroit.
Logistically, it's just, and again, love Seattle, love the Hawks, will always be a fan, but logistically, and I should have went with my gut last week too, because I really believed Atlanta was going to win, and I went with Seattle, and I gotta bite the bullet, just say Detroit. I gotta pick the better team.
Yeah, even after you did that, because when you were making that pick, you're like thinking Atlanta, and God, it gave me that feeling too.
I was so close to going with Atlanta. It's like, I just feel it.
Exactly. I mean, because I was just like, Seattle home game. You know, Atlanta doesn't look like it's supposed to be all that good. But after you did that, and then I was looking at it more, and then watching that game, I was like, damn, you were right.
Hey, I've always told you. What is the one thing I know? Marvel, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Korra. Football. All
right.
And I know how to do Bobby
now
Boucher's voice.
You know.
Now I can do Bobby Boucher's voice. One boy.
All right, next up we have Tennessee at Indianapolis. This is not really a great game.
This was a tough one.
You got one team that's declining, and then you got the other team that's rebuilding.
I'm going to go Indianapolis based on the defense alone is better for the Colts than is the Titans.
I'll go with Tennessee.
It's so hard because both teams suck so bad.
Exactly. Next up, we have Chicago at New York.
The Bears.
You know what? I'm going to go with New York as well, especially the way Barkley is.
I didn't say New York. I said the Bears.
So I'm going to go with New York.
You said as New York as well.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go with New York for that one. Jackson at Philadelphia. I'm going with Philadelphia.
You know what? Let me be a little different. Let me go Jacksonville. I think Philly will probably win this game, but let's shoot the bullet. Let's go for Jacksonville.
I think it'll be a close game, though. I think it might be a close game.
I actually don't know. I think if Philly wins, it's an ass whooping. If Jacksonville wins, it's a close win.
If it's gonna be close, it's either gonna be a close win by either team, or it's gonna be a blowout by Philadelphia. Is how I look at it.
Yeah. But let's just play the cards. Let's go opposite. You go Philly, I go Jacksonville. Let's go.
Fair enough. Let's do it. All right, we have New York at Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Steelers.
I'm sorry, like
Jets.
Again, I won't pick a New York team. You give me New York Jets versus New York Giants, I will boycott that game. That game is not existent. Might as well put them on a bye week, okay?
All right. Oh, this actually looks like a great matchup. Buffalo at Baltimore.
I mean, that is a great matchup right there, but I am going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
I got to go with the Bills, too. I've become such a Bills fan these last few years. Hard not to, but I expect this one to be a shootout.
Me too, and I'm a big fan of Josh Allen. I'm a big fan of Stephon Diggs. Just what they've done, everything like that. And again, love the fan base. They're so dedicated, they jump on tables. I don't get it. Give me Buffalo.
Yeah, but like I said, I expect this one to be at least a high-scoring game.
Yes.
Okay, we got Los Angeles Chargers at Houston.
I'm going Chargers.
Chargers.
Houston
is still...
Yeah, Houston's going to get their win very soon, but it's not this week.
It's not this week. Arizona at Carolina. I'm going to go with Arizona.
Carolina. I can't trust Arizona. I can't trust Kyler Murray.
Damn, because funny, I'm the opposite way.
I mean, you're playing with fire with both quarterbacks. Like,
I'm just going to throw this out right now. I do not care for Kyler Murray. I don't know why. There's just something about him that I just don't like.
I can name my reason why.
I mean,
I got two.
There's something about the guy that just irritates me as to why people think he's just literally so great. I just don't like it.
One, you're only good because you have DeAndre Hopkins.
You're suspended right now.
Two, you threw a fit in your contract re-signing because there's a study clause that you have to follow. Pretty much your team outed you for not doing your job as a professional athlete to actually study, to actually do film. I'm sorry, you can't just show up and play football. You have to learn. Get over it.
Exactly. Everybody else is doing it. Why can't you?
Exactly, especially at a quarterback level.
Yeah, that's actually one of my reasons. Guys, they're just not disciplining him enough.
Oh.
And so, anyway.
Actually, I'll say this about Arizona. They've disciplined him more because one of the biggest things was that they made sure that he didn't have the Russell Wilson treatment where Wilson got to go to spring training every season and get to, do all that stuff. They made sure to not have that for Kyler Murray. So props to you, Arizona, for that, because Seattle should have did that with Wilson, because that's just a big distraction.
All right. Up next we have New England at Green Bay. I don't know. We're still gotta wait to see what's going on with Mac Jones still, and I know a couple other wide receivers are a bit beat up. I'm gonna go with Green Bay. I'm gonna go with a safe pick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't trust New England, and it's in Lambeau Field. Give me Rodgers and the Packers.
Next up, we have Denver at the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm actually gonna pick the Raiders in this one. Get their first win.
I literally thought you were gonna say the Broncos. No, I'm going Raiders because again, I don't have faith in the Denver Broncos, and I don't have faith in Wilson. I
think they got 2 lucky wins, and
that's $262 million. Overrated.
Enough said. That's.
I'm trying not to go on my rant.
He's trying not to go on his rant. Up next, Sunday night game. This actually looks good. Kansas City at Tampa Bay.
It's a Super
Bowl rematch.
Super Bowl rematch. it's very hard. Because the last time the Chiefs entered into Tampa Bay and played Tampa Bay, they got a straight up old school fashion, what we call a whooping.
Whooping.
This one's hard. This one's very hard. Uh,
I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay.
I'll go opposite. I'll go Kansas City.
All right, fair enough.
I was really leaning towards Tampa, but give me the Chiefs. I think Pat Mahomes is going to go off too. I think Mahomes is going to have a day.
I think they'll both have a day.
Hopefully, let it be the matchup we were wanting instead of what we.
Like I said, we've had 3 Sunday Night Football games that have not been great. Hopefully, number 4 here will be a great one.
Yep.
Hopefully. And then last game of the week, Monday night matchup, we have the Rams at San Francisco. I'm going to go with the gut feeling. I'm actually going to go with San Francisco.
Me too.
I think they're going to pull the upset here.
I think so too. I think Kittle's back for a second week and everything like that. I don't really, again, just like there's a great rivalry between the two teams, and I truly believe San Francisco will come out top. I think there's a lot for Jimmy Garoppolo to really prove. This season, continuing for him to start and everything like that, it's a prove it for himself that he should have been the starter from the game.
Also, DJ Nocturnal there. Thank you very much for the call. We appreciate it. Welcome to the Sports Podcast. All right. So that pretty much wraps it up, guys, for this coming week's predictions. We all appreciate you guys all hanging out here, either if you're here watching us on Twitch or if you're rewatching this over on YouTube. We appreciate it. As always, like, subscribe, comment. I'm not going to get much more into that. And Ryan, do you have anything else you would like to add?
Not that I don't want to take up the time.
We are still planning on doing our Seattle Sports Podcast here, guys. I know we've been talking about that the last couple times. We will get to it eventually. I don't have anything more to say, so I guess we'll go ahead and sign off for the night. So, Ryan, if you wouldn't mind.
Ball game.
Good night, everybody.